Seatbelt usage is looked down upon by many people, but in fact, a seatbelt could save a person's life. We are going to look at the needs and the laws of seatbelts, keeping loved ones safe from using seatbelts, and the need of a seatbelt, and some statistics to show why seatbelts are so very important. The need of a seatbelt. How a seatbelt works is it is a diagonal piece of fabric that crosses over from either your right shoulder to your left hip or your left shoulder to your right hip, and it also has a lap belt. The importance of the 3 hit points are so that every part of your body gets stopped. When inertia moves your body forward, it will bring it back to the chair. If you didn't have that seatbelt on, you would go forward and inertia wouldn't stop you because you would just keep rolling out that window. A seatbelt is, just what I said, that piece of fabric that buckles across you. It may not seem like much, but in fact, it can and it will save your life. You may end up for a few injuries, but you definitely will not, hopefully, die if you have a seatbelt on. In Nebraska, the state law for seatbelt usage is click it or ticket, as Chad Faby explained to me in an interview I did with him just a few weeks ago. Chad Faby works for the Dawson County Sheriff's Office, and he knew my best friend who died about 4 years ago from not using a seatbelt. We'll get to that story later. Also, when using seatbelts and riding in the front or back seat, there's an age limit. You must always wear a seatbelt. If a child is under 5 foot tall, they need to be in a booster seat. What that booster seat does is it lifts them up so those hit points on their body get hit perfectly. Not unnecessarily perfect, but they hit better. They hit better than what they would if they weren't in that booster seat. And a child should be sitting in the back seat till at least 13 years of age until they're heavy enough to be in that front seat, because if they get rolling and they go out that window, that's not going to be good for them. Next, we're going to talk about the satisfaction of a seatbelt. Yes, they are not fun to wear, but I think it's even more not fun when you lose your best friend because they did not wear their seatbelt. My best friend was killed in a car accident 4 years ago due to the fact that she wasn't wearing her seatbelt. If she would have been wearing her seatbelt, the doctors and the police and the EMTs all said that her life would still be here. She would still be alive. The injuries you can get from wearing a seatbelt are minor cuts and scrapes. You may hit your head on the window, you may have a little concussion, but you will not get the major lacerations, you will not get the internal damage that you would get without using your seatbelt, because if you fly through a window, if you fly into that seat in front of you, that's going to hit hard, and you could have internal bleeding. As I talked to Nikki Thorell, who works at the hospital here in Lexington, she said that they've seen a lot of internal bleeding from people who do not wear their seatbelts. They've seen a little head injuries from wearing seatbelts, but that's because when you hit your body up, your head goes back and it hits like that. So yes, you may have a little sore neck and stuff like that, but that's so much better compared to than breaking your ribs, from being in that car accident, from dying, from anything like that. We also have a foundation for Erica Joy in her name, and it's to be able to let kids take driver's ed, so they're educated on the fact of how very important a seatbelt is. Some people just don't understand the importance of them, and I know it's hard for someone to grasp who hasn't lost a loved one to the fact, but I'm trying to tell you as one who has, that make sure you have those kids buckled up. Make sure you have your seatbelts on every time you get into the car. Next, we are going to talk about some different stories and different statistics. I will go through the Erica story from beginning to end in just a short phrase. It's going to make a long story short. She was in a car with other people. She was the only one with her seatbelt off. She wasn't driving. They lost a little control on a gravel road. She got ejected from the window. The car landed on her, and she died instantly. Not good. Being a best friend of someone like that is not a fun thing to find out. Out of a survey that I found out of 200 people, 62 of them said they do not wear seatbelts on a regular basis, and 132 of them said yes. I'm so glad that that number is bigger, but I'm so sad that those 62 people do not wear their seatbelts. You can get some head trauma and even death if you do not wear seatbelts. Scrapes and other things are minor things, but I really just think it's most important to wear that seatbelt. The conclusion would be that you can save your life and your loved one's life if you wear that seatbelt. You won't have to deal with the loss that I've had to deal with. You may get some severe injuries if you don't wear that seatbelt, and again, that death is a big one for me. Wear your seatbelt. That's just it. That's all I have to say. Just wear your seatbelt, buckle up, save yourselves and your loved ones from going in such a horrible way.